Welcome to PCN Life. Tonight we spend the day in South Plymouth at some well-known and maybe unknown places.
Health and Wellness brings us two segments. One with Duxbury Fitness with ideas on how to stay on track with your exercises as we head into holiday season. And we have Jeff Hills from Healthy Appetites coming on set.
We begin with our Spend the Day series, and it really looks like you've been getting around the South Shore, Brian.
Yeah, it's been pretty great.
For those who don't know, we've been spending a day in the towns that we cover here at PACTV and highlighting the things that you can do in each town from morning to night.
Right, and so far we've been to Pembroke, Kingston, and Duxbury. Each town has been completely different, and we've had so much fun making these installments.
Well, if you already covered those three, that leaves only one town, right?
This is true, and it's a big one. In fact, Plymouth is so big we had to split it up into 3 sections.
So which section do we cover this week?
You'll just have to watch and see. America's hometown. For many, it evokes images of the downtown promenade and Plymouth Rock. But as the largest municipality in the state of Massachusetts by area, it's a lot more than that. The landmass alone accounts for 96.5 square miles. With all of that ground to cover and 5 exits to choose from on Route 3 North, we decided to take Exit 2 and direct our attention on only South Plymouth this time around. One thing you'll notice about South Plymouth is that it's a little quieter and less commercially developed than the northern and central parts of town. It's made up of several villages and neighborhoods, most notably Ellisville, Cedarville, and Manomet. As you make your way up along the coastline, there's an almost old Cape Cod feel to the landscape. So we thought we'd head up Route 3A and hopefully find some hidden gems along the way. Heading northbound on 3A, you'll first pass through the village of Cedarville. For this area, this is about as commercially developed as it gets. But they've taken centrally located to the next level. In fact, if your car broke down on your way, you could take care of all of your day's business on foot. First, you could take your car here to get fixed, walk over here and get some breakfast. Go to the gym 20 feet this way. Take your car to get an inspection sticker over here. Grab some pizza for lunch. Take the dog or cat here to the vet, grocery shop, play a round of golf, and get some dinner, all without leaving a half-mile radius. But in our quest for the first meal of the day, we headed a little further up the road. Formerly Sweet Lemons, this little roadside eatery has been known as Marshland 3A since the summer of 2012. If you're from the Cape, the name may sound familiar, and that's because their first 2 restaurants were started in Sandwich. Business here in Manomet has been great, mostly due to their delicious breakfast, and partly because of their location.
Yeah, well, we're the last stop in between Manomet and Cedarville, so there's really nothing else in between us, so you kind of steal that crowd going in between the Cape, driving down 3A, so it's a good spot.
Most chefs are a special breed, and when they're enthusiastic about their work, it comes through in their creations, which is what keeps people coming back, especially when the French toast looks like this.
One of my favorite things about breakfast is it's all cooked to order, it's all from scratch, and there's no cheating, so you're cooking each egg to order how the customer wants it, and it's just a fun, fast style of cooking.
Taking a walk after a hearty breakfast like that is probably a pretty good idea. And with the ocean so close by, a nice beach walk is a great way to burn off some unwanted calories. In fact, some locals told us that the water here at Whitehorse Beach was so comfortable that you could swim in it year-round. So of course, we thought we'd put that theory to the test. Obviously, they were messing around with us, saying that you could swim here any time of year, but truth told, even in November, it's actually kind of refreshing and not a bad way to start the day. The problem is the parking here isn't great. So why don't we head down the road to a place where they've got trails, ocean, and parking. Our first stop takes us to a place that's hiding right here in plain sight. Since 1991, Ellisville Harbor State Park has been managed by the Mass Department of Conservation and Recreation, but its actual history runs a little deeper than that. It's said that between 2,500 and 5,000 years ago, early Native Americans hunted, fished, harvested shellfish, and made tools here. Nowadays, it's a way to get to what is considered one of the most scenic spots on the South Shore. It's also a nice place to go for a walk with your sweetie.
It's about a half mile out, and it's a round trip about a mile, so I often walk here just to get a little exercise. I used to jog here, but now I'm walking here. I've lived in this area for 16 years. Met some folks here one day who had grown up here when this was a farm, and as young kids they would pick blueberries for the farmer. So it was nice to get that little bit of history. It's also nice that the area probably hadn't changed a lot since they were little kids picking blueberries here. It's a state park, and it won't be developed.
It's nice also because a lot of people don't really even know that it's here. So you don't run into that many people, so you don't have to worry about running into people and having to interact with people and having people interact with you.
And if you like that cool combination of woods and oceanfront, but want a shorter walk to the beach, head up the road to Center Hill Preserve. Here you'll find a mile's worth of coastline overlooking Cape Cod Bay, which you can enjoy from the shore, or up here when you stop to take a breather or have some lunch. The view is pretty nice from both spots. You'll also find other hiking or biking trails on this 78-acre parcel of land, but we were hoping to get some expert advice on the best trails to ride around here, and more importantly, what kind of bike to take on them. Luckily, we were able to find such a person at this place with the cool mid-century Southern California gooey architecture sign out front.
A safe place to go and kind of learn what you're doing, I would say would be the State Forest, would be one of the safest places. They have some nice paved trails. You know, as you get into it a little bit more, there are some more local trails, you know, nearby the store here that a lot of people ride when they're doing mountain biking and that type of stuff. A little bit more experienced terrain.
Store owner Seth Lawrence was still just a kid in college when he opened this place in Manomet back in 1995. But it was pretty clear, even back when he was a middle schooler, that this would be his profession.
When I was about 13, I used to race BMX bikes. So I used to kind of tinker with the kids' bikes in the neighborhood, you know, adjust them up, fix them up, whatever they needed. And there was a local bike shop owner that had a shop that went out of business. He had some of the tools and parts and stuff at his house. He wanted to get out of the business, and he was selling his tools and leftover parts. I talked to my parents about it, and they said, sure, you know, if you want to buy that stuff, use your first communion money, go for it. So I took $500 of that money, and I went down, bought the tools. My father went down, we loaded up everything, came back, set up a little shop in the basement of my parents' house, and that's how it all began.
Whether it's a road bike, a hybrid, or even one of these fat tire bikes that can ride over just about anything, we're pretty much good to go. And of course, a helmet. And that leads us to our next destination, which I like to think of as sort of a coming attraction. This is Tidmarsh Farm. And what may look like overgrown cranberry bogs is actually the largest freshwater and river restoration ever done in the state of Massachusetts.
2010, the family decided to restore Tidmarsh East, which is the property that we're on now. And it's about 500 acres. And we wanted somebody to own it who could manage a wildlife sanctuary that was open to the public. So we got in touch with Mass Audubon, and they have now agreed to have a fundraising campaign to purchase this side of the property.
Of the 500 acres, just about half of it is the restoration portion. And if Mass Audubon decides to make it a sanctuary, it will be accessed from Beaver Dam Road. And this is what that side looks like. It's really quite breathtaking. To give you an idea of just how big this property is, at one point in the late 90s, the bogs here produced 1% of all of Ocean Spray's cranberries for the entire year. In non-scientific terms, that's a lot of cranberries. But hopefully, if you're out on these trails, you're not thinking about little fun facts like that. You're just enjoying the nature that surrounds you. And while you may think you're alone, you'll soon find out that many of the area's former inhabitants have started to return, including fish, turtles, and lots of birds.
Well, birders love it. We have all different kinds of hawks. We once had 6 osprey sitting out on the new pond eating some fish. We have a total of 169 species of bird that have been recorded and registered on eBird.
Of course, if you want to talk to some real bird experts, you'll have to go to Manomet. No, not the village, but the research facility. It's a little tricky to find this place, and normally I would suggest leaving a trail of breadcrumbs behind you to find your way back. But since it's a bird observatory, that probably wouldn't work. Originally founded in 1969 as the Manomet Bird Observatory, Manomet is located high atop the bluff overlooking Cape Cod Bay. First-time visitors may think they've stumbled on a little piece of paradise, while the ornithologists here know they have. One of the things you'll notice first is the antique tea house on the property, and many of the interesting plantings that surround it.
The purpose of our garden is to demonstrate to the public, to landowners or gardeners, what plantings they can put on their property to really support and sustain the wildlife in their area. So the plants that we choose are native to this area, have co-evolved over thousands of years with the wildlife that's here. So they're best adapted and suited to those plants.
For 50 seasons, they've been monitoring birds migrating down the coast in the fall and up the coast in the spring. And if you're part of an organized group that's arranged a visit, you can come and see where they collect the birds before they band and release them. You probably can't see it, and that's by design, but right behind me here is the netting that catches the birds. Now, late afternoon, you won't find any birds out here. Most of the birds are caught in early morning. And in peak migration time, like mid-October, they're catching at least 12 different species of birds every day. Trevor Lloyd Evans has been here for most of those seasons and seems to be a bit of a bird whisperer, if that's an actual thing.
There's a concentration of birds right along the coast, and to study bird populations, you really need to get a decent number of birds banded, weighed, measured, all of the data we take. So this is just an ideal place. There are plenty of seals along the shore here, there are plenty of gulls and shorebirds along the shore, and there are plenty of landbirds on the landbird side of the shore. I think we're just a green spot along a rather built-up coast, and that's attractive to birds.
And when the daylight starts to fade and the early evening hunger rolls in, you can count on Monte Cristo's in Manomet for a good meal and fun company. Named after owner Christos Malios, this neighborhood restaurant has been a staple for great pizzas and subs since 1983. Remember that family-run pizza place down the street from your house when you were a kid, and when you walked in, the smell coming from the kitchen was almost magical? That's this place. And now it's being run by two of Christos' sons, Jimmy and Pete, and one of his daughters, Effie.
Mostly, I feel very lucky and grateful to be working in a family business. I get to see my brothers and work with them, with my dad, consult with them. It's a lot of fun seeing them and just working together.
And Monte Cristo's doesn't pretend to be anything it's not. It's your neighborhood family pizza place, the kind of place where anyone can come in off the street and feel like they're part of something special.
Our locals are the ones that support us and are loyal to us, and they like to come in here. We're all like an extended family, and we all kind of have fun and joke around, and it's fun.
What better way to end the day than with some old friends? Oh, and now that we've got some pizzas, some new friends. Reporting from South Plymouth, I'm Brian Sullivan for PCN Life.
Awesome pizza.
Our health and wellness segment today brings Jeff Hills from Healthy Appetites back to our set. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming back. Okay, Jeff, I have to admit, I'm sick. Everybody in this building's sick. All my friends are sick. All my family's sick. Everyone's sick. So what do we do this time of year when it seems that a cold just won't go away?
Well, you said you're sick. I walked in, the first thing you said is, don't shake my hand.
Right.
I'm sick.
Right.
I'll be shocked if we get through the segment without a background cough, because all the camera people are also sick.
Right.
And the producers are sick.
Right.
This is what happens this time of year. It seems like this happens right about when the kids go back to school, and it just seems to progress right onto the holidays and right through the holidays. I think that there's some simple things that everyone can do to protect their immunity.
Okay.
First thing would be to do a vitamin D supplement. Now, vitamin D is not ordinarily associated directly with immunity, but it's a huge thing for your immune system. When you take vitamin D, it stimulates your production of over 200 antimicrobial peptides. These are things that go around and kind of make microbes less viable.
Okay.
So they're going to be less able to affect
So
you
microbes
in a
are not
negative
good.
way.
We don't like microbes.
Well, some are not good. And these are kind of the things that your body puts out when you take vitamin D that goes around and kind of takes care of the things you don't want in your body.
Okay, and vitamin D is the sunshine vitamin?
It is.
Okay, because people like me, I'm never outside. I never get any sun.
It wouldn't matter right now anyway, because where we live, we're so far north that we don't really make vitamin D out of the sun very well anytime other than about the middle of May till about the middle of September.
Okay.
And beyond that, you could run down Plymouth Beach naked with all your skin showing right at noon, and you're not going to make any vitamin D.
Okay.
So
vitamin D
supplementally, it's an important thing
to
help get rid of the things that you don't want in your body.
Okay.
There's some things you do want in your body, and that would be probiotics.
Right.
So
that's a big buzzword lately.
It is,
okay.
And it's something that people really never thought that much about in terms of immunity. Probiotics used to be something you would take if you had done a course of antibiotics.
Right. And
just to kind of
that's literally
replenish.
how they started, right?
What's that?
The probiotics? I mean, they became popular because so many people are taking antibiotics now?
For years, the only time that anyone used to take probiotics or would ask me about probiotics would be if they had been on a course of, antibiotics.
Amoxicillin or whatever. But
Just
now
trying to
you're
replace
saying
the good bacteria.
it's a good thing to take anyway.
Well, now we know that the bacteria in your intestines is up to 80% of your immune system.
Oh.
So they are more of your immune system than you are of your immune system. It's an
Really?
important thing to maintain. And this time of year where people are going on courses of antibiotics for this or that, it's a really important thing to do.
Okay.
But just in light of the fact that it's most of your immune system, it's an important thing to do.
So do you take a probiotic in a pill form, in a powder form? How do you take it?
You can do it pill, powder, liquid. That's the easiest way to do it. You can eat fermented foods, yogurt. People know that as a good source of probiotics. Unfortunately, most of the commercially produced yogurts don't have a lot of live probiotics in them. If you can make your own yogurt, that would be the best way to go. We've done that. It's actually not that bad. It's not that hard. Some of the commercial brands are good. Just look for a brand that says that it has live bacteria. And take that one.
Okay, so far we have vitamin D and probiotics. What is another essential thing to help our immunity?
Well, this time of year, almost everything that people are catching are viral things. So the antiviral supplements would be a great way to go. So the one that I think is the most effective and probably the most researched for cold and flu would be elderberry.
Elderberry.
And elderberry is typically done as a syrup.
Elderberry wine.
You can do it elderberry wine, sure. You can do it as a pill. Or a lozenge. It's something that's very, very safe. The one minor caution on it would be if you get one that is a syrup and you are diabetic or you have blood sugar issues. There will be sugar in there, but no more than you would get in a little bit of honey or many other things you'd come in contact with in your diet. It's a fantastic antiviral. What it does is it attaches itself essentially to the virus and makes the virus so the virus can't use your cellular material against you. So a virus will kind of poke into your cells.
Say, ooh, I found a home.
Say, hey, look at all this raw material we have to make more viruses out of. And that's what happens. And when you take the elderberry, it prevents that from happening. Another thing that works in kind of a similar way would be olive leaf.
Olive leaf, not olive oil.
No, we think of olive oil and we think of olives.
I've never heard of olive leaf.
One of the best parts of the olive tree is the olive leaf. It's a fantastic antiviral, maybe one of the best. And it's usually done as a pill or a tincture, so it's a little easier for people to work with than sometimes the elderberry would be. A lot of people just are kind of against taking a syrup. They just don't want to do it. They don't want to taste anything. So often a pill is a better way to go for people.
Now, when you're talking about antivirals, viruses cannot be treated with antibiotics. Is that correct?
An antibiotic will have no impact
on a virus at all, right? So a virus has to, quote, run its course?
It does to a certain extent, yes. You can just make that course shorter.
Now, do you take these as a prophylactic dose, or do you take them when you're sick?
I do olive leaf as a prophylactic, and I typically reserve elderberry for either when I feel like I might be getting something.
And you always know that.
Or if I see my employees, or my wife, or somebody else has something, and I don't want to get it, then I'll jump on it. But typically, I'd use the olive leaf as the everyday one.
Okay. How do we pass these colds? You hear all the time about, you have to wash your hands all the time, wash your hands. Is that true? Or is it that talking to each other and coughing, and how does this work?
I don't know. The whole Purell thing's pretty controversial at this point.
I know.
Where we might be over-sanitizing ourselves to the point that we're really depressing our immune system. It's the same thing that people say about we're overwashing our vegetables. There's no dirt on the carrots. There's no.
Your grandmother used to say you should, eat a pound
a little
of dirt
dirt
in your life.
Exactly.
True.
Well, that's right. They were right. It's funny how all these old wives' tales these old wives are pretty
fruition.
Smart.
Right. All right. So D, probiotics, elderberry, olive leaf. What else can help our immune systems?
You can do things. Some of the things that people have heard of, maybe the more familiar with, would be echinacea. Echinacea is still the most famous of the antimicrobe sort of supplements out there, and that works in a different way than the elderberry or the olive leaf, in that it is, in great part, an anti-inflammatory. We didn't realize until recently that was one of the big mechanisms that echinacea works by. Is it's a fantastic anti-inflammatory. It also is something that stimulates immune cells. So you make more immune cells.
Okay.
So where the elderberry might kind of try to shut down the virus,
Yep.
echinacea would work by making more cells that would attack the virus.
Okay. Now, how do you know as a consumer, because you see ads on TV, especially late at night, I've noticed, that if you buy this specific brand of
Echinacea.
Echinacea, that it's better than anything else because it's true or it's pure. Or, I mean, is this all a bunch of hoo-ha?
You know, I don't see a lot of the stuff on TV because I don't often watch, tons of TV. I'm kind of like a live sports guy as opposed to, you know, most other stuff.
But branding-wise,
I think brand makes a huge difference,
Oh, you do?
especially
Okay.
with herbs.
Okay.
Herbs have to be done a specific way.
Okay.
And you really need someone who's really being conscientious about how they make their herbs.
Yep.
And really wants to maintain their reputation as a company that makes good products. And, they have to sell that to people like me.
Right.
Whereas in the mass market,
Right.
you can sell something that is technically an herb. You
Yep.
can use the wrong part of the plant.
Right.
You can use the part of the plant we don't use typically.
Right.
You can use the echinacea flower.
Right.
Put that in a pill and say it's echinacea. And you're not lying, it's echinacea.
Right.
It's not the part we
Right.
use.
So is it really the best idea is to walk into a place like Healthy Appetites and talk to someone like you who's been in this business forever, where you can give the straight scoop on this is what you need.
Well,
These are your options.
Of course, I'm going to say that. Yeah.
Right.
You
But
should-
but not just you, but other places that sell things like you do, that sell supplements,
I think
versus
you'll-
going to CVS and getting their
I think you'll
store
always
brands.
get better advice at a place that specializes
Right.
in that type of thing, where we're not really pushing the fact that we have cotton balls and
Right.
and chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
What we do.
Right.
But we're really more focusing on that aspect. I mean, that's the majority of what we do, and I think that's what I spend my time studying, and
Yep.
that's my area of expertise more than anything else.
Right.
So yeah, I do think that that's an important thing.
Okay.
I think that you have to look for certain things. For instance, I mentioned probiotics. If you look at a lot of commercial probiotics, they're not going to have the right array of bacteria.
Okay.
You want to look for something that has, on the back, on the supplement fact label, every supplement has a supplement
Right,
fact label.
right.
Look for the bacteria. They'll tell you what bacteria is in there. Look for some that say L,
L bacteria.
and look for some that say B. So they'll say L. acidophilus.
We like L and B bacteria.
B. bifidus.
Okay.
And the reason that's important is the ones that say L are going to settle in the small intestine.
Yeah.
And the ones that say B are going to settle in the large intestine.
Okay.
So you want a little bit of both, and you want to have some complexity to your probiotic.
Okay.
You might not find that in the mass market.
Okay, so we've covered a lot, and we're basically out of time. You've given us D, probiotics, elderberry, olive leaves, and looking for echinacea. I don't know how to say it.
Echinacea would be great.
Okay. Smart, common sense things. Get plenty of sleep. Hydrate. Right. I mean,
Absolutely.
Eat good food. Don't eat cockapoo out of a box.
You took the words right out of my
Yeah,
mouth.
I mean, everybody can do that. And it sounds to me like you kind of almost need to go back on a regular basis to a place like yours to educate yourself as to what you're actually doing.
There's lots of great information out there. I mean, I think we're a great clearinghouse. I think there's a lot of great stuff online.
Yep.
There's a lot of garbage online. You
Right.
have to be careful.
Okay.
I could give you a list of websites. I mean, but that would be
That would take forever, and we're
a
out
whole
of
nother
time.
10-minute
Okay.
segment.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, and I hope I won't cough on you.
Our health and wellness segment also took us out to Duxbury Fitness to hear some tips on prepping yourself to keep up with your exercise goals as we head into holiday season.
Hi, I'm Vicki Paquette with Duxbury Fitness, and I'm here with PCN's Health and Wellness segment. And today I want to talk to you about getting through the holidays without gaining a bunch of weight and without feeling like you threw your workout routine off to the side and it's not worth it anymore. For me, it already started with Halloween. We have a boatload of candy left over at our house, and I've been picking at everything where I'm down to Milk Duds. And I'm not eating those, but I'm close. So how can we just stick to the routine and not feel like it's just not worth it? Some things you can do is just don't worry about the food. We know we're going to eat. We know we're going to splurge. Family will be in town. Halloween candy's left over. Christmas is coming. There'll be parties and it'll be fun. Drinking's involved, and that in itself can really pack on the pounds. Instead of focusing on the food aspect and feeling like I cheated today with a couple glasses of wine and I had stuffing with dinner and leftover this and that, focus on how do I get out and get moving. Go for a walk. Another idea might be to get your friends involved and family. We have relatives coming in from out of state. One of my sister-in-laws, she loves to run. So as a family, we plan on getting into Plymouth, doing a road race. Those of us who don't run, me, we just plan on shopping. But I'll wear some high heels and get some good exercise that way and shop around. Some other things you might do is start a challenge. Here at Duxbury Fitness, we had a challenge with our clients where we said, let's try to get 15 workouts in by Thanksgiving. So every day people posted and we tallied it up, and it was just a good way to keep motivated and keep on top of it. It doesn't matter if you're going home and splurging a little bit over this time. Just don't worry about that. Take the stress off. Don't feel like you ruined it all. Keep moving. That'll just keep you feeling good and keep everything moving well. So enjoy the holidays this year. Make it fun. Think outside the box. Don't let it ruin everything you've worked so hard for. Have fun with it. Thanks for listening with PCN Life, Health and Wellness. I'm Vicki Paquette.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. Replay times and links are at PACTV's website, as well as on their online channel, PACTV Prime.
You can also find PCN Life on YouTube. We're back in 2 weeks with another new episode of Life.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.